So as a recap, if you missed my video yesterday, internalizers with the PDA profile tend to shut down and hide all of their anxiety and their demand avoidance instead of externalizing and having meltdowns that are very obvious. And the information we're going to go over today comes from Sally Cat, which I'll put the link to right there. So what she says initially is that she believes that most PDAers, maybe all PDAers with an internalized profile, hide their reactions instinctively. That from a very young age, from like birth basically, they learn to hide their pain and they internalize innately. And so it's very difficult for them to externalize their pain and show that they're struggling. She goes on to say that she believes that we do everything that we can to hide what's going on inside of us. We'll chuck massive amounts of energy and learned skills into doing this, not because we've been ordered to, but because our brains tell us to. We shrink from having our differences observed. This means that we hide each and every difficulty that we have, tend to not self-advocate or ask for help, and will harm ourselves by not asking for our needs to get met. She goes on to say that internalizers feel very distressed if they're seen as being needy, and oftentimes will try to physically hide their bodies, their face, with hoodies or hats or whatever they can to try and hide so they can feel invisible, so that people are not seeing them, because being observed triggers a very heightened anxiety response. This directly leads into her second main point, which is about PDAers and masking. So like we talked about yesterday, they tend to be very dramatic, good actors. And so even with an internalizing presentation, that still tends to be the case. She says, my personal comfort lies in masking my vulnerability, and masking is not an option for me. I cannot choose to not mask. I can't drop my mask because it happens organically. And that she feels that it would be harmful for her and for other internalizer PDAers to drop their masks, because they would be exposing their vulnerability, which feels very threatening and causes a lot of harm. Since PDAers like to play roles and tend to have different parts of their personality that tend to be very hidden because of their anxiety and communication difficulties, she goes on to say that PDA masking for internalizers can actually be an extension of their true identity rather than being in place of it. It gives them an opportunity to play a role of who they actually are, so they can combat their anxiety and actually engage with other people. She says some PDAers feel permanently separated from other people, as if stuck behind a fear wall, which is constructed of social interaction, communication difficulties, social focus, innate high anxiety, and rejection sensitivity.